Hello, you guys. Sangoma Anyi here, back with another episode of Setting the Atmosphere, the podcast with Hippie Girl TK. Some of you may know me by Unicorn Hippie, Sangoma, TK, or Takira. Either way, nonetheless, I am here back with another episode. I'm super excited about this episode because I'm going to be talking about the full moon in Gemini, aka the Beaver Moon, and I'm also going to read these cards. I already pulled them prior to. I've already blessed and created a sacred space and a sacred circle for this reading to come forth to you guys. But yeah, we're going to get into some of the things, some of the characteristics of the moon. A lot of people that I come in contact with that are part of my tribe have been having some trouble sleeping. We're seeing angel numbers. We're feeling really big energetic shifts, or going into really big ascension portals, if you will, or just feeling different. Some might describe it as that. So we're going to get into that on this episode. Again, thank you for watching. Everybody that watch, everybody that gives me a thumbs up, everyone that subscribes to my channel, I greatly appreciate it. It's been a dream of mine to have a podcast and talk about things that no one wants to talk about, or talk about things that everyone has reservations about talking about, from spirituality to dating to depression, grief, anxiety to sex, romance, dating, white and black issues, race wars, global issues, international issues, what's going on in Palestine, what's happening in Africa. A lot of those things will be coming up on the episodes to come. That we're just gonna create a safe space and deep dive into these topics and see what God wants us to do, how he wants us to help intervene, or what he wants us to inform or get out there. That's what my podcast channel is all about. So again, I appreciate you for just watching, taking the time to even click on the episode, even if it's just for 5 seconds. I appreciate the energy share. Let's get into this episode. So like I said, full moon in Gemini. I have Gemini in my chart. It's my moon, I think. Yeah, I think it's my moon. So I'm Taurus, Cancer, Gemini. We'll talk about that later. So this full moon is in Gemini. It peaked yesterday, 11/27/2023 at 4:16 a.m., which was Monday. And everybody who follows the moon, astrology, astronomy, deals or works with the moon phases, or notice different things and different patterns within their life, knows that 3 days prior to the full moon peaking and 3 days after its peak is a window of a lot of manifestations and prayers that are answered, cycles that come to an end, things that you're having to self-realization to release. So like I said, 4:16 a.m. yesterday, November 27, it peaked. This is called a Beaver Moon. According to the Farmer's Almanac, it's called the Beaver Moon because this is the time period where tribes, people in different indigenous groups, mainly Native American, the beavers would be gathering food or getting ready to hibernate. So they symbolize this time, or this moon, as a time period where we are again getting ready for the winter. This is the last full moon before winter solstice. This is the last full moon of 2023. So this moon brings a lot of resolution and resolve and endings to things. This is a time period of ending. So be careful about starting new projects right now, because atmospherically and on a seasonal base, it's not time to do that. It is winter. It is frigid. It is time to bundle up. It is time to stock up for winter. It is time to get prepared. It's time to go into our deep shadow selves, if you will. I know that was a lot, but like I said, this full moon also, the energy that it comes with also helps with ending things, helps with ending cycles, relationships, and just circumstances that no longer serve us. And when I say circumstances that no longer serve us, for instance, for example, the spirit of poverty, or going into the Christmas month of Christmas, in which a lot of people celebrate worldwide, you know, a lot of financial things happen during this time, and people go into a lot of debt or have this poverty mind spirit. And it's just like the collective wants us to end the cycles of going broke for Christmas, wants us to end the cycles of a lot of guilt and a lot of shame that we carry with a poverty spirit, because it's like we might not be financially stable to get everybody something. So now that puts us in a depressive state, like I should have did this, what if I did that, I'm supposed to have more money, or doing things that we necessarily shouldn't do for money for the sake of, I gotta make sure, you know, everybody gets a gift, and I gotta buy my kids at least 20 things. Getting out of that routine, getting out of that systematic burden, getting out of that financial crisis that we create for ourselves is what Source is telling us. In those cycles of false burdens, like we put this pressure on ourselves, we have for decades. I used to be the same way. This morning I had a conversation with my kids. I'm like, give me 5 things that y'all want. That could be gift cards to like Five Below, Ulta, Chick-fil-A, whatever y'all want, but we're not doing that. We're not getting caught up in this like world of, you know, going broke, trying to impress the next person or have the best this or the best that. Like, what's something you wanted all year that's not a normal, you know, thing that I could afford right now as your mother? You know what I'm saying? Just being realistic with your goals. If you're trying to save, people are trying to prepare to buy houses when the market is ready, and all sorts of things. So it's just like, why go broke right now? Source is saying, in that cycle of being caught up with just doing too much to keep up with who, really, false burdens, and understand that changes are coming too, and accept and embrace those changes, because we're going into a new year, so that is changing within itself. It's another year, you know, that, you know, based on earth, based on, I call it a fake new year, because the real new year is spring for me. That's when the earth is new, the grass is new. But anyway, for everybody else, going into a new year to where the date is changing, because we cannot negate from numerology and when we, you know, can play on it or whatever the case may be. So there's a new year coming, 2024. That's a change, you know what I'm saying? We have people that is not going to make it to 2024. We have our children growing up before our eyes. There are a lot of, you know, anniversaries that come with the new year. So just embracing that within itself is big for a lot of people as well. And like I said, this is the last full moon of this year, according to the world. So it's just like, there's so much that we could do with this moon, so much that we could release, because like I said, we're focusing on the ending of cycles, the ending of relationships, friendships that don't serve us, even family. I'll be the first to like really just be vocal and say, like, of course I'm a people person, of course I'm here to serve people, but as a normal human being, I'm here to send a message out. It doesn't matter if it's family or not. If they don't serve your highest good, love them from a distance. There's no reason that we have to keep the cycle of generational curses of being around certain family members that don't elevate our highest self, that are negative, that never has anything good to say. Like, I'm not going to surround myself with you just because we share blood. That's not going to happen. I'm not saying I'm going to be mean to you or I'm going to act funny with you. It's just that I'm going to love you from a distance. I'll see you when I see you. I'm not going out of my way to be around anything that doesn't serve me, anything that doesn't make me feel good, and anything that I visually see that doesn't help me or my children. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to be getting caught up in the same old shit. My car's trying to get away. You know, the same old shit, and you know, just chop it up. That's just how they is. That's just how they are. Sources say with this full moon in Gemini, we have to end a lot of things like that. It's the holiday time, and people get really anxious and really worried about what this person gonna think about this, or what should I wear. You know, auntie gonna have something to say about that, and grandma. And it's just like, we get so worked up, which is bringing up this point about anxiety and not sleeping during what the world considers this holiday season, with Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, and what to wear, what to eat, what's the menu, who house we go. We just consume ourselves with so many things that just keeps us up, keeps us in fight or flight that keeps us in a high intense energy level at all times, instead of utilizing this time, utilizing your days off, utilizing the holiday breaks to be with your children, do relaxing things, go out in nature, play kickball with the kids, softball, make things, craft, just sit around the house, listen to some music. We don't want to do any of that because it's like, we got to go over here, we got to go over there, we got to get to the grocery store, we got to do this, we got to Black Friday. Like, we literally create our own chaos, and it's literally a facade. It's what the systematic world wants us to do, which keeps us in that high anxiousness at all time, to where we're not making rational decisions for the betterment of our mental health, the betterment of our parenting, the betterment of our coexistence with other people. We're just doing shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like right now is really the time, and I'm really going to stress that we in a lot of things that's not serving us, because we all know what they are. If you're watching this episode, you're thinking about right now what you got to end right now, the type of activity or the behavior that the children are seeing or that they're listening to, the type of back and forth and toxic relationships and friendships and family ships that we're a part of, and it doesn't mean anything. Like, it doesn't help us at all, and we know that. It's just that we're just caught up. So really utilize this moon to end some really big, deep dark cycles, because a lot of us are going to be pulled into hermit mode, pulled into hibernation, to where we're literally going deep right here down in the root, down in the sacral, where we are experiencing a lot of family oriented things, our upbringing, who didn't make it, who's in the spirit world, our achievements and goals that we have not achieved yet, just things like of that nature, to where we're feeling low and we're feeling a lot of guilt, and it's like forcing us to like just deal with those emotions and look and manifest for the best outcome for us. Like, no, you might not have done what you wanted to do this year, but like, don't lose hope, don't lose your faith, keep in contact with God, and let's make it happen. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of us just do that woe is me, victimized thing. I was supposed to be like this last year, we were supposed to take a trip, all of those low vibrational things and low vibrational thoughts. Let them come, feel them, so you could deal with them, and that makes your grind even harder. That makes your motive even stronger. I had a friend of mine who's becoming a really good friend of mine, like just with advising me spiritually, because he's at a level spiritually probably that he doesn't even really know about, but he can vocally speak and share with me and advise me on shit that I need to do, because I hadn't made a podcast episode in a while, and he was like, ain't this what you want to do? You feel what I'm saying? Like, do that shit. So yes, I recorded an episode a couple days ago, but I'm back recording another one, because I want to be consistent in the knowledge that I have, and in the wisdom and the downloads that I get from the divine, hear feedback from you guys, see if we could talk about it, if we could grow, if we can co-create. This is what I want to do, talk about these things, get them out in the atmosphere, set the atmosphere literally. So it's like, here we are, and that was the kick in the ass that I needed to keep it going, because I could have been like, oh, I've been doing this for 2 years and I only got 80 subscribers and yada yada yada. It's like, I gotta be persistent, stay consistent, and get out of certain cycles within my head, like, oh, I'll do it again, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow, procrastinating, being lazy, and just doing shit. You know what I'm saying? We got to end a lot of different mindsets. I feel like with this full moon, for me, the tone for me specifically is to end the cycles of false perception, false burdens, and like just misconceiving, things in my own head, and thinking I can procrastinate and put things off. So yeah, that's where I'm at with this moon. I know it's a lot. The moon's energy has been so great. My brother's been super excited about the moons. He's really intrigued with the moons too. My whole family is really, but last night he was like, come outside, look at the moon. Like, we seen this like rainbow hue. It literally looked like chakra colors, and the moon was showing up kind of like peach, kind of like this color a little bit actually, and it was just so beautiful. And then I took a walk at Marina Jack and I was in a tree. Y'all know I'm gonna love trees because I'm sitting up under this beautiful tree right now, but I got up in a tree and I'm just looking at the moon, and it's just like the energy from it is not even like really aggressive. Like, people are very afraid of the moon. Full moons, most time they think it brings out a chaotic energy, and they're absolutely right, it does, if you don't know how to work with it, or if you don't know how to embrace this. Things are changing. It's a new phase, or beginning of a new phase, sorry, ending of a new phase. With that being said, I'm just like looking at the moon, and like I'm getting so many downloads as I'm communicating with God, like looking at this moon, and it's like, God, like, you know the vibes. You know what you need to do. You know what you need to end. You know what you need to stop going. You know what you need to stop spending your money on. You know what you need to, like, get out of it. In these things. Pull yourself back, draw back, you know what I'm saying? Do what you need to do, because we already know. We already know the things that we need to put an end to, because it's not serving us, it's draining us. So with that being said, this reading. Okay, so what came out, first of all, this is the one of my new oracle decks that I got, and it's called Herbarary Oracle Cards, and it's all like herbs, flowers, things of that nature. I really love the botanical aspect of holistic healing, and tinctures and teas and smokable herbs. With that being said, if you guys are looking for smokable herbs to add to your holistic lifestyle or your ritualistic practices, whether that's mullein, if you're dealing with an overaccumulation of mucus in the body, help with respiratory issues, breathing, people that deal with asthma or bronchitis, I have a number of herbs that I work with, and I can either prepare them in a tea satchel for you to drink, or put them in a smokable herb for you to inhale, if you will. So that is a side note. I'll make sure I put my handles to my business page and all my other handles for my social media for you to order herbs from me, tinctures, cough syrup, wellness shots. My mother makes handmade honey and turmeric soap. So we have a lot of different natural organic things that we work with to add to your healthy wellness lifestyle. Getting into the reading. Herbs, that's what I was going. So as I was preparing, I pulled a 3-card pull for the collective in regards to this moon that's here, in regards to what we're experiencing on the energetic shift. Like I mentioned before, there's a lot of people I know. My entire family is like up at the same time at night, even my children. And I have a sleep talker and a sleepwalker. So sometimes when she wakes up at certain times, I'm listening or trying to make out what she's saying, because, you know, the divine speaks through us, comes to us in our dream room. So with that being said, the first card that I pulled was Resurrection. I don't know if you can see it that well. There we go. And it has an owl on it with a crescent moon, and the herb is California poppy. I read these out of the guidebook, but even just with seeing this resurrection, just like in the Bible and many other instances, and just knowing what the word resurrect means, to bring back to life. So that's in alignment with what this full moon in Gemini is, the ending of cycles, so that rebirth can happen. Our old self has to die. That's in biblical text. You know, to this, for this flesh, for this body to die, is to really be present with God. And that's not like die to go in heaven, and it's, you know, literal. It is, but just saying, like, putting a stop, you know, the ego, the pride dying, this human self, this human flesh, the human desires, putting a death to that so you can resurrect in your true light, is what I think this message is saying. Owls really represent a lot of wisdom, and it's like, you know, with that rebirth, with that awakening, with that increase of your spirituality and your connection with God, you're gonna gain so much more wisdom and knowledge of how to go about your next step in life. That's what God is saying. That's what source energy is saying within this reading, within the synchronicity with the moon, the resurrection. There has to be ego death. A lot of us have to die like our pride, our arrogance, our haughtiness needs to die, because we're missing things because we think we that fucking cute. We're missing things because we think we're that fucking special, and we think we're indestructible. Like, things can't happen to us because we're so, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, no, parts of you that you think are the shit gotta die. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah, they might have served you in a different space, in a different life, but right now they're hurting you, and you know it is. You know what I'm saying? So dying to old self, dying to old ways, dying to old egotistical thinking, dying to pride, and when to apologize, when to you know what I'm saying, have this self-awareness of what your focus is. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, resurrection. Yeah. The next card that I pulled out was Tough Love, and the herb is lavender. And lavender, I totally always purple. I'm going to the crown chakra. I'm going to your crown, your royal priesthood, who you are. You know what I'm saying? Your mental, your thoughts, what's going on in your headspace. When I think of lavender, but I also think of deep, meditative dream realms when I think of the color purple. And a lot of us could be dreaming lately, or God is coming to us through messages in our dream, but also in the tough love aspect. And if you can look at this card, it's such a beautiful card. You know that tiger speaks out to me too. So there's a fairness and a femininity that comes with this as well. And I love this cup of tea. To really and this is not like, oh, give other people tough love. This is to say that you can be soft like a lavender. You can be soft and delicate and very fragrant and very forthcoming, but if you eat a lavender, there's also a bitterness that comes with it. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like a little twang, if you will. So with that being said, it's just like tough love with yourself. Like, be soft enough not to condemn or judge yourself in these aspects of ending cycles where you should have known better, or whatever the case may be. But also and not being too frigid or too bitter on yourself, but also learning how to be soft and kind of sit with yourself, like you're sitting with your friend, having a cup of tea, and just kind of reevaluating and reassuring yourself, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, I could have, but it's okay. You know what I'm saying? And also speaking in truth, tough love to me. Speaking in truth, like, you know what I'm saying, being real enough to have conversations with your friends, families, loved ones, and be like, look, this is how shit really is. This is how you're really making me feel. I don't really like that. Is there a way that, like, we can see how this can work for the best of us, so both of us can be heard, instead of just being very passive. It's a lot of us out here, cycles haven't ended because we are so passive. We just let shit happen to us. We let shit slide. We don't say nothing about anything, because it's like, if I really love you, I'm gonna tell you. You know what I'm saying? If I really fuck with you, if you're really my friend, if you're really my tribe person, if you're really my sister, my cousin, whomever, my brother, I'm going to give you that. I owe it to myself to give you that, because I would want somebody to do it to me. So tough love, being sweet and delicate and beautiful, and make sure we're having clear and healthy communication with ourselves, with source, and with other people, but being stern, being firm, and standing on business for real, and setting healthy fucking boundaries. That's tough love too. Like, I love you enough to not deal with you because you hurt me. I love you enough to let you go because you're not consistent with me. I love you enough to just let you have your space because I don't really like being around you that much anymore. You know what I'm saying? So that's tough love. And of course, you could take into consideration the picture. There is a bunny down there, so that could represent fertility, being pregnant with ideas, being physically pregnant, being fertile in your wisdom, or dropping gems, or sharing your knowledge, like just really impregnating the earth or impregnating your people with your life experiences, your stories, your advice. If you are one that's a leader or a mentor, just really getting your ideas out there and really creating and co-creating as well when I see this. And then when I see this tiger, when I see any type of feline, I think of Sekhmet Bastet, very feline, like gods, goddesses, deities, that's bringing in a lot of feminine power, and really allowing us to rise up in our power, and being very fierce and being very feline like, but also having beauty in that, also having softness within that, and not being so aggressive and not over operating in our masculine, trying to stand up in our femininity, if you will. Sometimes us girls be doing too much. We just be wanting to be extra fierce, and I do get that. But I've also learned, you know, in these last 2 years that that type of energy isn't needed all the time either. There has to be balance, and this card represents balance to me. All right. The last card that came out was We Are One, and it's trees, lots of trees, and it's roots. And I always post about my tree, look at me, my grandmother's tree at our property, the tree out in Sarasota, Florida on Osprey. And it says, we are one. And so when I read that card, I instantly knew what the message was in regards to the collective, because this is a general reading for all of us, and it's going to resonate with some others, you know, more than it does with the other, but this is for all of us. This is definitely for me, and I know it's for you. And I'm going to read that card, Quaking Aspen. Give me 1 second. So it says, we are one, quaking aspen. Despite the trembling of her leaves, aspen isn't really scared. How do you know? Because deep underground, all the aspen holds hands. To our eyes, aspen trees are individual, but in the roots and hearts, they are one. This is not a mere metaphor. Aspens grow in what's called a clonal colony, sending out underground suckers to find a lovely spot to sprout a sister tree. Aspen grooves are among the largest and oldest single organisms on the planet. When you see an aspen quivering, it's often with laughter. She giggles gently at the human race, who seem to have forgotten that deep in our roots, we too are one. Aspen asks us to root into the sense of connection so we can let go of our fears. That's saying something. Like, that's saying something, because it's just like this week there's been a lot of things going on in the city where I come from, where there's just a lot of high intense things going on, a lot of aggression. There's been some fights, there's been some quarrelsome, like I said, the holidays that always have family fights or differences, or cousins or sisters or siblings or whatever the case may be, that don't really like with each other, don't really fuck with them, or I'm only stop by a little bit, or I'm not coming, and all that shit though. And what this reading is saying is like, none of that matters. Figure out a way around it. You're smart, you know what I'm saying? Figure out a way to coexist with people, especially your family. Like I said before, I'm not saying take any type of abuse from anyone or any type of negativity from anyone, but just be at peace with whatever peace looks like for you in that situation, instead of continuing the quarrelsome, instead of continuing the discords and the fights and the malice and the messiness and all of that fake beef, fake drama type of bullshit. Like, we have to get past that, because even though we individually stand alone and we're here alone and we're gonna die alone, we're connected at the root, for real. We're all connected. Everybody that I meet, I focus in and I lock in on them a little bit longer to see if like something feels genuine, something feels pure, there's some type of connection, like something, there's always something. And then sometimes there's not, but at least like with the people that you rooted with, the people that you grounded with, like the Bible say, you do it in love. You really genuinely care for them people, you genuinely support people, you genuinely have a care for the people that you're around, that you call your family, that you call your tribe, instead of being two-faced, instead of not speaking up, instead of, you know, walking in fear that they're gonna be mad at you if you know, tell them something, show them something, suggest a different way, or say, friend, that wasn't right, that wasn't cool, or, you know, no, I get it, I understand, what can I do for you? However it needs to happen, we're authentically not doing that. Source Ben showed me that a couple days ago. People are being unauthentic as fuck, and I'm over it personally, but just like getting back to like organic friendships, organic connections, businesships, partnerships is what this reading is also saying. She giggles gently at the human race who has seemed to forgotten that deep in our roots, we're one. Like, we're forgetting about the bigger picture. This message is happening right before Christmas time, because we all gonna forget what this reading is saying. We're all gonna forget the power this moon possesses, and we're just gonna jump back into the cycle. So this is a friendly reminder to not do that. You know what I'm saying? And for people that are in a financial space, to help out a stranger, help out a family member, to do that too. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all need each other out here to some degree, and it's time to really act on that and not just record it and put it on social media. It's time to really walk with human race, with mankind, with light. On the inside, all of our lights glow the same. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna pull a card for our affirmation for this episode. Hey God, what other messages do you have for the collective? We thank you for this reading. It was spot on. What messages do you have for us? We're gonna pick one affirmation to manifest on, to meditate on, and it just jumped out, actually two. Okay, it says, today I will forgive. Take that how it resonates. Some of us, me too, need to forgive. Y'all know who it is, what it is. Release it, end the cycle, break the cycle right now, today. Today I will forgive any past mistakes that I have made and love myself unconditionally. So that's self too, forgiving self. Okay? The next affirmation is, today I am powerful. Today my potential to succeed and to conquer challenges is limitless. I can do what I want. I get real delulu about my manifestation. So, yeah. Today I'm powerful. Today I will forgive. We're setting the tone for the full moon in Gemini. You got a couple more days to work with this moon. Write it down, make it plain, speak to the universe, put your hands together, talk to God, open your hands up, however you see fit, however you talk to the divine, however source talks to you. Make it happen. In those cycles, y'all, in those cycles, in those relationships, in those friendships, and do it in love. Be like, I love you, but this isn't gonna work out for me anymore. This isn't happening. And be cool with that. Thank you so much for watching Setting the Atmosphere with Hippie Girl TK. I feel like this was a wonderful, powerful episode. I hope you learned something. I learned something too, just listening to God and being divinely guided and divinely led. So I thank you so much. I'm sending you guys love, light, and may you harness all the power inside of you that God put inside of you to use it for your own good, to use it for the greater good of the human race and mankind. And I love you guys. Thank you so much. Sangoma Ani is going out. Bye. I gotta go pick my kids up.